Will we get another interest rate cut? And will it lead to negative rates? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article and ask ourselves a few questions about the interest rate or the cash rate. Now the article here that's written in Yahoo Finance by Samantha Menzies is, can we expect a budget day rate cut? Because if we jump over here we can see, when is it? On October 6th, that's when they have the Reserve Bank Board meeting and the monetary policy decision. That's when we will learn if we're going to get another interest rate cut. Now, at the moment, I'll bring up this chart. Our cash rate is, I've updated the chart to show 0.25%. It is very, very low. It's very low. If we bring up this other chart here, this is the RBA rate indicator. Now, this is showing the probability of from the ASX RBA rate indicator. It's showing the probability of a interest rate change. You can see there on the left, that's 64%. So 64% chance of a interest rate change. And right now it's predicted to go down, and some are saying down to 0.1%. Notice it was a bit higher a few days, and this chart updates every day. So a few days ago it was over 77 or 76.5%, and it's tracked back down. Now, here's the question, because there's talk, and we'll go through this article in a moment, about discussions of, will we get an interest rate cut? Who's predicting it? Westpac is saying it may push forward to later in the year, maybe November, the last meeting of the Reserve Bank. But the question I would put to you is, if they make that cut, what impact is it going to have? Because remember, look at the cash rate. Look how low it is. Look how low it is. And you know what? I'm going to type in now. What is it? Home loan mortgage rates. I'll just type it in right now, and we'll just jump over here and have a look and see what we see. I don't know. Let's go to the top 2020. We got a Lendy or whatever. We can see here all the different. Wait a minute. No. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Let's go to Rate City. Why not? Okay. What have you got there? Advertised rate 2.49, 2.59, 2.39, 2.44, 2.59, 1.98. There you go. 1.9, 1.9%, everyone. And they give you, all incentives to get in. We had some viewers who got money paid to them to jump bank. And then he went back to his bank and they said, we'll pay you this money. He got that money, then he jumped later. So he got cash payouts. Now, the banks are fighting to get you. They're fighting to hold on to you. How much of a difference do you think another rate cut is going to make? Do you think we'll see it passed on? I think politically they'll have to pass it on to some extent if we get a rate cut. But I'd like to put another argument to you. I'd like to suggest that a rate cut at this level won't really make that much difference to our spending habits. For most people, sure, you'll get a bit more in the mortgage. How many of you would, honestly, let me know in the comments, how many of you would change your spending habits? It may mean more people can borrow money. Those people who are going with the FOMO, getting the first home buyers grants left, right, and center, and jumping in the market. It may mean that, hang on, I need a shot of coffee. It may mean that they can borrow, maybe $1 million instead of $900,000, or that unit they're getting in Darwin when they live in Adelaide, they can go $750,000. I'm still haunted by that poor guy buying that unit. But is it going to make that much difference? Is it going to have a flow through? See, the policy that the RBA have, the lever they have to pull, which is the cash rate, they've pretty much expended it out. Unless they do something else. Unless they go to negative. Unless they go to negative interest rates. Now, I know our Reserve Bank governor has said that they're highly unlikely. He hasn't ruled them out. He said that they're highly unlikely before the Senate. And this was just last month. But things can change quite often in a month. And there are several countries around the world that have negative interest rates. I'll bring those up here. Countries with negative interest rates. You can see, I've looked at it before, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, Japan. I mean, look at... my greatest fear is that our economy ends up like Japan. We just stagnate. So there are countries that have had negative interest rates. Now, could it be... I'll put my theory craft hat on there. Could it be that lowering the cash rate would prime us, get us ready for the inevitable plunge to negative rates? Could that be what it is? Could that be the sign? Now, we all trust our governor, but remember, he said it was highly unlikely. And one thing he mentioned in this video was that when they have negative interest rates, well, it actually discourages people. It has the opposite effect. People save more. People save more. And right now our savings rate is sitting at about 19%. So I wonder if maybe they'll be forced to do that to get more economic activity, or just to keep kicking the can down the road. I don't imagine it's out of the question now. I think nothing can be taken off the table at the moment. I think they're going to do everything they can to just push the property market as well, as far as they can. That's the Australian way right now, guys. That certainly is. Property is our be all and end all. So let's have a look at this article. Let me know if you think I'm off the money there with that theory. I know a lot of people are concerned as well about bank bail-in, and I'll look at that in other videos. I have looked at that in the past. Honestly, I'm more concerned about the inflation, about going to hyperinflation or really stagflation. I think we're seeing it already in property prices all around the place. I mean, think about it. All of these grants and incentives and government schemes that are encouraging people to jump into the property market, that is going to have an inflationary effect. It's going to be the Candlelight effect, guys. We're going to see it because there's money created in that sector. If you're not familiar with it, it's refers to the change in relative prices resulting from a change in money supply. More money is being driven into the property sector, puts up prices. We get a bubble. And politically, they need to do everything that they can to stop it bursting. They need to do everything they can to stop it bursting. Too many people, too many businesses, too many voters are just tied up in property. Everyone is tied up in property. And rather than allowing the market to correct and adjust and have reasonable prices, they intervene. We've got mortgage holidays. Mortgage holidays extended. We've got trading while insolvent until the end of the year, guys. We've got JobKeeper. We've got job seeker inflated. Even though they've been increased and they pulled back, they're still there. They're still higher levels. So, major banks have tipped a 2020 budget day cash rate cut to 0.1% as the Australian economy begins a bumpy road to recovery, but not everyone is convinced. Australia's official cash rate fell to its historic low of 0.25% in March, with the RBA having previously been reluctant to voice any sort of consideration for taking interest rates even lower. But RBA Deputy Governor Guy DeBella has now said the bank is ready to do more to help the nation recover from the worst downturn in nearly a century. See, this is the thing, everyone. This is the thing. You have to realize with all of these people in these central banks all around the world, because of their ideological Keynesian approach to economics, they think they are helping. The government thinks they're helping. I know people all like to add, I'd say advocate for additional competence in the government to organize complex things. I think they're just trying to, honestly, I think they're trying to help and they're stuffing it up along the way. I think they're between a rock and a hard place. The problem is they want to win the next election. That's all they care about. They want to win the next election, probably because they think they can do a better job than the other guy. The country, no matter how bad I do, it's not going to be as bad as the opposition guy running. Come on. That's the world we're in now, isn't it? So DeBell outlined the possibility for further monetary policy action in a virtual speech last week and concluded that as the outlook for the Australian economy unfolds, the RBA, or the board, will continue to assess the merits of the range of monetary options to best support the economic recovery. Major banks and home loan lenders took this as a signal that further monetary easing is not only likely, but likely in the near term. NAB now sees significant risk of the RBA easing policy further by cutting the cash rate, the major bank said. NAB expects these further easing measures to be announced at either the October or November board meetings. noting that the October board meeting is the same day as the budget, while the November SMP after the November board could be an avenue to communicate its message to a wider audience. AMP Capital Chief Economist Shane Oliver also thinks the RBA is likely to cut the cash rate on budget day. We continue to expect further easing by the RBA, probably at its October meeting, so as to present a united Team Australia front with the federal government, as it's the same day as the budget, he said. But while Westpac had originally tipped the RBA would cut the cash rate by 15 points to 0.1% alongside its other monetary policies on budget day, the major bank has since retracted that prediction. Westpac chief economist Bill Evans now says that an interest rate cut is more probable in early November, as the central bank will want to scope out the government's full response to the pandemic. A central bank move on budget day could be interpreted by the government and the bank itself as diverting attention away from the budget and complicating the government's task of selling the budget, Evans says. I mean, we're going to have to do a live stream on that budget and just watch that as it comes out, go through it. It's going to be interesting. This is probably one of the most interesting budgets we've seen in Australia. What are they going to throw? What are they going to throw at property? What are they going to throw to keep the economy going? What would you like to see, guys? Let us know in the comments, or what would you not like to see? You know, Mortgage Keeper, anyone? What do you reckon? You think we'll see Mortgage Keeper? So, 11 lenders, including Commonwealth Bank and ING, have axed their owner-occupier interest home loan rates in response to the Bell's speech last week. Commonwealth Bank reduced its lowest variable rate by 10 basis points to 2.69% last week, while Australia's fifth biggest lender, ING, also lowered its variable rate for new customers who live in their own homes by 10 basis points, with its lowest variable rate at 2.49. Online lender Pacific Mortgage Group has dropped its one-year fixed rate by 20 basis points to 1.99 for owner-occupiers, and Illawarra Credit Union cut its variable owner-occupier rate by 1.65 percentage points, bringing it down to 2.59. Australian Unity, First Mac, People's Choice Credit Union, Yard, Virgin Money and Homestar Finance also dropped rates in anticipation of a budget day cut. The RBA will announce its next monetary policy decision after its October board meeting at 2:30 p.m, Tuesday the 6th of October. So there we have it, everyone. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think they'll cut rates? And do you think it's just the first step to negative? Do you think we'll see negative interest rates in Australia? That's the question. I can't say any of us would be surprised if it were to happen just with this crazy year that we've had now in 2020. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. I'll see you all in the next episode.